right, welcome to Out of the Blue from the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network. Roads, where we're going, gentlemen, we don't need roads. I am Jared Stormer of the Block M Podcast Network and RaisinBrew.com. With me, as always, is Andy Daly, my hetero life mate, a historian, lover, husband, runner, a distant descendant of the great Khan, soon-to-be father, a mountain of a man that on this day I will attempt to humiliate. How the hell are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm tremendous. This is the one we wait for. This
one.
is the podcast that we count down for. Now, granted, we've been very fortunate. There's some national championship podcasts in there that I've also had some enthusiasm for. But this is the one that you plan for. When does your planning start in earnest for the spring game draft?
You mentioned something in like early 26, late 25. You're like, getting my big board together. And I was like, damn, I got to get on it. So honestly, it starts way earlier than it should. Like even like in the midst of the transfer portal with names going in and out, probably starts around the same time just to keep track of it. But I don't really put everything down, probably till about a month before. And then I just go in and tweak it.
Month out. I get the doc ready. I got it ready way sooner this year just because I needed a palate cleanser from last year. So it's like, let's turn the page, getting excited about the Whittingham staff. So that is going to be the crux of this podcast and great exercise for talking about this roster. I think this will really give us a good picture. We'll feel better about our knowledge of the roster, maybe not the state of the roster, but our knowledge of it and where things stand position by position after this. Before we get to the spring game draft, though, decent amount of news since we last spoke. So let's touch the banner really quick here. And let's start at the top with the most important, in my opinion. Sounds like a Dusty May extension is done, says Ward Manuel. If you don't believe him, I would understand. But sounds like that is done, and he will remain the head coach at Michigan for the foreseeable future. Do not have details as of our recording on Monday, April 13th.
Just tell me when it's done, Ward. That's all I want to hear from you. I don't want to hear it's virtually done. It's been handshaked upon. Tell me when it's done. I do not care what the number is. I really do not. Dusty May, pay him whatever you want.
Ward Manuel. Look, a broken clock is right twice a day, and even Hitler got the trains running on time. So I guess every now and then a terrible person can do some good things, and Dusty May is his good thing. Yeah, let's keep it pushing. Along with basketball news, very excited about this. Tennessee power forward JP Estrella, which is Spanish for star, excited about his potential. Power forward, oh, come on now, baby. Multilingual, been living it up down south of the border. Number 20 ranked prospect in the portal. He's 6'11" at the power forward position. Averaged 10 points per game, 40% from three, 60% field goal percentage in 18 minutes. This is a big get. This is a big get, and starting to see a trend here of bigger players seeing what's going on at Michigan and wanting to join in on the fun.
This is just a copy and paste Dusty May type of player. When you look at like the effort, the intensity he brings, the role he was playing, and you mix in the 3-point shooting, it's like hand in glove.
It's great. It's a different kind of a format for your front court. Very different player than either Yaxel Lendenborg or certainly a Daimara Morez Johnson. Brings a different flavor, but can really light it up from three. And as we've seen, when these players get more minutes in the Dusty May system, you know, we've seen some real improvement. So fascinated to see what they get out of him. I think he'll be a big piece, particularly offensively, for this team next year. Additionally, on the basketball roster front, got a couple transfers going outbound. Winters Grady, the 6'6" small forward, former 4-star, he'll be transferring out, as well as Malik Cordell, RIP to the Yellow King. We hardly knew you. And Winters Grady, whose name sounds like one of those names that Jim Carrey's character made up for the albino kid in Me, Myself, and Irene. That's a deep cut. I knew you'd get that one though.
I love that movie, so that's tremendous. Yeah, neither of these are surprising. I mean, probably expect a couple more, like a Ricky Liburd or something like that, like especially with McCoy coming in and some of the movement and their players returning next season. There's going to be more before it's said and done.
Yeah, and it's just the way of college basketball now, where if you're not getting playing time, like would you rather come in and play behind Juke Harris, a potential transfer that Michigan could get, we'll touch on here in a second, and come off the bench for a really good team, or would you rather have guaranteed playing time at Seton Hall, where it's like, we're going to feature you here, know? So
would you rather win a national championship or win 17?
He gets a ring, it's going to be a very obscure thing. Like, name the people who have a ring from this national title. It's like Malik Cordell, who averaged 2.8 points for,
Played in some
Elon.
games though.
Played in some games, got to see some of them. So those guys outgoing, we might see more. But like I mentioned, watch for Wake Forest guard/forward Juke Harris, who visited Michigan, was at the national championship celebration, was crystal balled to Michigan there for a minute. Then UNC and Tennessee threw their hat into the ring. So we're going to have to fight it out with those guys. Interesting player, a definite offensive weapon, shot about 33% from three last year, put up 17 points per game. Playing the guard position at times at 6'7", that moves me though, and Dusty May teams, they have a real emphasis on size. And if that guy's playing the two, well, that's a great start on size.
Dude, he put up 21 points a game last year.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm looking at I'm looking at the wrong guy. 21 points per game. Efficiency, not the best, but he was the featured guy at Wake Forest.
So interesting little anecdote about Juke Harris is I was at the Michigan Wake Forest game in, where is it? Winston-Salem 2 years ago. So Dusty May year one, I was down there for that game and I was talking to some former Wake Forest players who were sitting in our section, very high on Juke Harris. They love everything about his game. They thought he was going to be a focal point moving forward. He was this season, but the team success was very limited, kind of up and down. We saw him give Michigan a run for their money early in the year, but flounder in conference play. So I think this would be a great addition, like very much in the Yaks vein.
Yes, in the sense that he's projected to go late first round. I think Yaxel could have gone as high as like 20 last year. Juke Harris could see himself go in the 20s this year, but if he sticks around, could really improve his draft stock. And it would be a very, very exciting addition. And brother, that is a basketball name, capital N. Juke Harris might be better as a running back, but we're not going to split hairs here. We'll take it.
No, this is fantastic. You already mix in the return of Cadeau and Trey McKinney, and then maybe one more return.
Maybe Morez Johnson, who said he is not necessarily sold on the draft. Quote, "There's no rush because if I can't get a guaranteed NBA contract this year, I know I can get it next year. I have no issue with coming back to Michigan and trying to repeat." This was the guy. This was the guy that we said it makes sense. The more I watched of him along the road, it was like, yeah, you could go, but you're not starting on a playoff caliber team next year in the NBA. You're just not ready for that. Come back one more year, get seasoned, a much weaker draft class next year. And that three-pointer was starting to look like it was a thing. If you bring that up, the sky's the limit. You could be a top 10 pick next year. I think it makes a lot of sense. I know that Michigan and Dusty May are going to want to bring him back. Get this done, JP Estrella and Mojo. That moves me as a front court. That moves me.
And not to mention, we've already mentioned this, you have proof of concept with Yaxel Lindenborg and seeing like, hey, he came back, he got better, we can do the same.
Absolutely, man. So we should know more in the next couple weeks about what this roster is going to look like next year. My guess is they just reload Brandon McCoy in the USA versus World game. Oh boy. Might be a player, might be a one and done kind of player, but wow. There is something there. So already excited for next year's basketball team, but I'm still letting it wash over me. It's gonna be washing over me for the foreseeable future that we are national champions. Anything else on basketball?
We wrapped it up.
All right, then. You know what I have to do. We've got to talk about it. I give you the floor, regrettably.
So I'm gathering myself here. Michigan loses in double overtime in the Frozen Four to Denver, the eventual national champions, in a game when they outshot the Pios 52-26. Doubled them up in shots, just couldn't get past Johnny Hicks. Wisconsin went through the same thing. The next game in the championship, they outshot them 30-15. It didn't matter. Hicks was just too good. Talk about just running into a wall of a player. I was going to say unstoppable before, so that doesn't make it. He is the immovable object. He completely shut down what Michigan was trying to do. They were just peppering him with shots throughout the game. Like after the first period, Michigan dominated pace of play in the second, third, and both OTs. Just couldn't get it done. But this team should only lose 5 players after it was announced that Michael Hayes is returning for his junior season. The first round pick of the Canadians a few years ago shocked kind of the hockey world, announcing his return to Michigan. He was the nation's leader in assists this past season. He's going to be considered a Hobie Baker frontrunner next season. That's hockey's Heisman. And not to mention, this team is also adding, it looks like, Cameron Reed and Jack Nesbitt, 2 first-round picks from last year's NHL draft. Nesbitt, a 6'4" power forward, the number 12 overall pick. And Reed is a supremely versatile defenseman, which is Brandon Dorado's bread and butter, who was selected number 21 by the Preds. adding both those players, a returning Hayes and a returning Henry Muse, who, lest we forget, was the quarterback of the power play before his injury. This isn't the end of Michigan's run. This wasn't their one shot at the title. This team is loaded up. The program is in such great shape right now to really make a push to break the title.
To every cloud, a silver lining, and the Hage news is certainly that. Additionally, you've got to look at the forest for the trees in a moment like this. And preseason, I know for a fact we said on this podcast, Frozen 4 is a hugely successful season.
Yes, it is. I mean, this team was
And
picked, I believe, fourth in the Big Ten, ranked really low, then spent the majority of the year ranked number one. It was the best regular season at Michigan since 07, 08, when Narado was on the team. So they took a huge step up to really return to form.
and young head coach, and you just got to keep giving yourself opportunities. Keep getting to the Frozen Four, which you hang a banner for. By the way, these are noteworthy accomplishments. These will be accolades that are remarked upon in history. Keep giving yourself a chance, and then you just got to have that magical run, which the DU goalkeeper Hicks is currently on. Silly stuff from him, but bummer of a way for it to go out. Double overtime hockey games should be illegal for blood pressure concerns. My God, but it is what it is. And excited for next year's team already, man. I think it's going to be once again one of the favorites next year. I think they'll be among the favorites.
I mean, the only team that would be ranked above them right now is Denver. Everybody else had substantial losses. Minnesota's rebuilding. Penn State's been gutted. Michigan State's been gutted because Trey Augustine finally left. Praise the Lord. So it's like Michigan is in a great spot to have the best goaltender in the Big Ten, depending on what happens with Fleming at Penn State and Ivan Kovic taking that next step. But very excited about this. We're probably going to have maybe a summer episode about hockey. Got something in the works there. So we'll have more on this when the roster's finalized.
Yeah, Augustine to the massively disappointing Red Wings, who could use some sort of shot of life. My word. We won't do that on this podcast. We mustn't dwell, not on
Yes.
Spring Podcast Day.
No.
We mustn't. Let's move over to football before we spend a large amount of time talking about this football roster. Couple updates from spring practice. Little tight-lipped, even listening to some of the Jansen stuff, trying to seek out information. I haven't heard any like that's eye-opening. It was the Tommy Carr news, and then Savion Hyder's good at football. It's like, yeah, I kind of knew that, but all right. Like, hasn't been much coming out of there. But one really encouraging piece is that defensive end John Henry Daly is ahead of schedule, will be full go in a few weeks, which something that I spoke with Michael Smeltzer on Bleacher Report. He's just like, are we penciling this guy in as, you know, what he was last year coming off the Achilles? I believe it was an Achilles.
Yep.
And yeah, sounds like he's ahead of schedule, no restrictions, should be the player that we saw last year. That's tremendous news.
Yeah, and he will be discussed tonight ad nauseum.
Yeah. I think he's going to go in the draft. I think he'll get
He'll
picked.
be, maybe early, maybe top 15.
We'll see. We'll see about it. And then the other news, sorry to end on a bummer before we get into it, but this one sucks. A guy that you and I we didn't call him as one of our guys, but we were kind of batting eyelashes at him, putting him off to the side, circling him, and that's running back Micah Capana. There's always a player like a low 3-star that really exceeds their draft position. And we heard some stuff back from the Harbaugh era, because he's a Harbaugh era holdover, about Micah Capana. Yeah, he was a Harbaugh era holdover. I believe he was recruited by Harbaugh.
It was the transition year, because I believe 24
it was the transition year, but he
year.
would have been recruited by Harbaugh. Yep. Yeah,
correct.
But a guy that they talked about really enthusiastically. But running back Micah Capana will be out for the year. I believe it was ACL. I actually don't.
I think it was lower. It was listed as lower body for HIPAA
lower
reasons.
Body,
or,
likely,
something like that.
So unfortunate, but you know the depth there. He was going to be fighting for RB3, which Bryson Cusdall has a pretty strong chokehold on, I would say. So I don't know how much we would have seen it, but nonetheless.
Which hurt.
Special teamer, yeah, something we'll talk about in this podcast as well. Anything else I missed on here, brother?
No, dude. That's enough foreplay.
Yeah, come on now. Time to adjust your britches. We're going to take a quick break, coming back with the meat of the season, the best podcast of the year. The 10th annual Out of the Blue Spring Game Draft is about to commence. All right, we are back. We are the most righteous men, and righteous indeed is the day, the 2026 Out of the Blue Spring Game Draft. Enough pomp and circumstance. We've already talked about how important it is to us. Talk a little bit about the history. Started doing this our first year with the podcast, and it was a Jim Harbaugh thing, because the way Jim Harbaugh ran the spring practices, he said, we're going to do it like a game. We're going to do it like a schoolyard. Go out there and draft them up. We were obsessed. Obviously, coming off the Brady Hoke era, we wanted these cool little niche things, and it led to this, which we will continue to do until the year 2075, or until one of us dies, whichever comes first. and love it, man. It's such a great way to look at the roster, which is why we continue doing it. And we love drafts in this household, in this podcast. So felt like this is something that needs to stick, and you'll get an idea of how we have basically rated the players. It is done separately and it is done individually. We have not seen each other's list. In fact, we are cagey about even talking about the football team on the podcast or off air because we don't want to reveal too much here.
Honestly, like there's an embargo on our football discussion until we have the
Mhm.
spring draft. Like we'll go back and forth when the portal and things are going on, NFL draft buzz, but about the current team, we very close to the chest on this one. Like, how you feeling about this guy? Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. How you feeling about him? Pretty good.
That's all I'll get from you. I asked you one last week and you're like, yeah, just good.
It just makes it so much more fun that just like be competitive, draft the team. I'm really excited for the conversations more this year than most because it's a new coaching staff coming in, new evaluations. There's a lot of unknowns on this roster and so much that I really want to get your opinion on.
100%, man. And it leads to some great discussions. As far as how we're going to judge it, we're going to post this online and let the fans have a vote. But really, you and I will come back 2, 3 years later and look at it, be like, oh, you actually won that.
Yeah.
And there's usually a pretty definitive winner. You've really been smoking me. I came out of the gate strong, and it's probably something like 8-2, 7-3 right now in your favor. Part of the reason we decided to reach out to producer Tony, who you will see on this episode, providing some mediation for us because it's just too much for me to try and keep up, have a little nugget to say about everybody, update my draft board, and then think about draft strategy. So, welcome to the team, Tony. Show the world your beautiful, lovely face.
Appreciate it, boys. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, just super
Yes.
excited to be here and mediate this and make sure the playing field is nice and level for you. So there's no excuses, no excuses this year. So, but for all of you listening on the podcast, you'll just be able to listen and hear the picks. But then if you're watching it on YouTube or potentially on other social media platforms down the road, we do have the visuals for the draft board, so you can just follow along through that. But yeah, super excited. And just a reminder, Michigan won the Natty in basketball this past week, so feeling great.
You don't say much, sir, but when you do, it's to the point, and I commend you for it.
Do you want to go over the rules real quick?
Yeah, let's go over the rules. Nothing really has changed. If you've been a long-time listener, if you're new to the podcast, you're probably like, why in the hell are you doing such a thing? But it goes back into the before times, into the netherworlds. And the way we're going to do this here, pretty basic here, except this year, one change from last year, we are not drafting quarterbacks. Way too much of an advantage if you get first pick and get Bryce Underwood. That's just not something we're going to do this year. We did put it on the table last year, and I took him, I think, second overall pick or really early on.
I think it was first. Yeah, it was early.
Yeah, it was my first overall pick.
Yeah.
No, whatever. Regardless, that's not what we're here to delineate. But this year, he will be all-time starting quarterback. So Bryce Underwood, basically just pencil him in for both teams. Aside from that, you cannot go back-to-back with position groups. And for this, D-line, O-line, and secondary are going to count as one position group. Wide receiver and tight end, separate, correct?
Correct. That's correct. Also, if a player is injured right now but is playing this season, like a John Henry Daly or a Rod Moore, both are eligible to be drafted here as our freshmen, whether they're on campus or not. So Carter Meadows, Alistair Vallejo, they're eligible. Micah Capana and players that are out for the year, however, are not eligible to be drafted.
Is accurate. One wrinkle that we added at the end, we are going to draft up two position coaches. I'm going to be taking first pick in that since Andy, we've coin flipped it every year, but he demanded first pick. And you know what? Congratulations on the upcoming birth of your son. You can have first pick, although, man, are you going to be able to control the draft in this one? I know it. I know what it is, but say the name. Andy, please kick us off the 2026 Out of the Blue Spring Game Draft.
With the first pick in the 2026 Out of the Blue Spring Game Draft, the blue team selects edge rusher John Henry Daly. He is a returning first-team All-American with 11.5 sacks, 17.5 TFLs last year. Very similar to David Ojabo in size and production. His injury is the only concern here with him going first, but you alleviated all concerns that I had with the update on top of the podcast. So John Henry Daly, number one.
Yep. There's a reason why he's number one. Is he the best player on the team? Yet
Could
to be
be.
determined.
Yeah.
But he very well could be. But holy drop off. Holy drop off after this. I actually thought you might go another way, but you have done such a great job, and you've always been this way of removing your biases and wanting to have your guy. That's how I end up with Miles Spider Sims and Amir Herring and like
I
critical
drafted
starting spots.
Nolan Elizio one time,
Who
okay? Like,
is that?
exactly. I'm not without sins here.
Who is Cornell Wheeler? I don't know. With the second pick in the 2026 out of the blue spring game draft, I'm going to take Jordan Marshall, who I thought might be your pick there up at the top. Not as big of a drop off here, but you want to go ahead and put him in pen for 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns against Purdue, 25 carries for 185 yards, 3 touchdowns. Look, our stockbrokers both threw themselves in front of a Tarta bus because of how over leveraged we are on this guy. We've been in on him since day one. He is probably the most surefire. Like if you're doing a fantasy draft, this is the first fantasy pick on this team. Lock him in. Only thing that can stop him is injury. Marshall's going to have a monster season.
His 6.2 yards per carry last season was 4th all time for Michigan running backs with at least 150 carries in a season.
That'll do.
The tremendous pick. I love Jordan Marshall. I mean, everyone that listens to this podcast knows that. For my second pick, I am going to go. There's 2 ways I could go here, but I'm going to go center Jake Guarnera.
Okay. Man, have you come a long way since 2018? The lines.
He's the only player to take center snaps on this roster. It was confirmed this week by Kyle Whittingham in his press conference. He is the starting center, as everyone already knew. You mentioned holy drop-off after John Henry Daly. Holy drop-off after Jake Guarnera at center.
This is why first pick was going to dictate things. You took the number 1 and number 2 drops on the team. I actually had center as a bigger drop just because I don't even know who the name is. We'll find somebody there, but literally, like, I have a question mark for backup center. We'll probably get a name here soon about who's leading the way there. It's a tremendous pick. You've solidified the lines. You may have got the best player on the team. Man, really wishing we would have flipped for it, but I guess you get a son and the first pick in the draft. No, man. All right. Go ahead and give me my boy. This is me taking a combination of one of my favorite players as well as like one of the best players on the team. I'm going to go ahead and take Andrew Marsh here. Not as big of a drop off, but I'm going to take an absolute stud. Could be second best wide receiver in the Big Ten next year. Could he flirt with the first as a freshman? 655 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, 24 yards per kick return and 11 per punt return. Might be getting a little something there on my special teams unit as well. I think he should continue to return punts for this team. The Swamp Thing, the second coming of Mario Manningham, a little bit of a diva there at the wide receiver position, but I can handle divas. That's what I do. I date Latinas.
Also, he's a wide receiver. If he wasn't a diva, I would be concerned. Like, that's what you're supposed to be.
You gotta want to be that kind of guy, dude. You gotta want touches. This guy wants touches. He's got the built-in chemistry with Bryce Underwood. Everyone else has got to build it. It's built in. This is ready to go.
Assuming he plays 13 games next season, he would need 77 yards per game to be the first Michigan receiver to go over 1,000 yards in a season since Jeremy Gallon in 2013. And over a 7-game stretch last season, he averaged 87 yards per game. I think he's going to do it this year. I think it's going to happen. It's kind of like what we used to do with the running back breaking 1,000 yards when it had been so long after Fitz Toussaint until Karan Higdon did it. We got to put this one behind us. It's time. Marsh is the guy to do it. Again, a drop off here. You and I are both really valuing positions here, but I can't let you get both the guys. I have to go Savion Hyder right here. No way I could let you get Jordan Marshall, Vion Hyder, and Andrew Marsh in this draft. I mean, I don't know what needs to be said here. The hype train is out of control. He's already been comped to a combination of every great Michigan running back and Christ himself at this point. Mike Hart's freshman record of 1455 feels safe, but Ricky Powers is second all time from 1990 of 748 yards. I think that's in play for Hyder.
I'll take the over. Yep. I'll take the over. I believe the hype. If you would have gone Marshall first, which I thought you might consider if it wasn't JHD, I considered it, and I was like, well, I guess Hyder's going with the 4th overall pick or whatever it is then, and I feel fine with it. Like, I looked at it, and at first you're like, that's crazy for a freshman, and then you think about it, and you're like, this dude's going to rush for 750. Like, if he's healthy, he is the number 2 running back. You're absolutely right that I would have taken him out of spite because you did it to me last year, which was the right thing to do. Especially, like, you gave me a chance to get Justice Hayes last year too. Like, he stuck around, so I absolutely would have done it to you. That is the correct call. Look, man, he's the chosen one. He's the chosen one. Level of excitement for Jordan Marshall was like a 9.5. I think this is a 10 for us both, right?
This
Yeah,
is
this is
a
a
10. And
10.
honestly, he could be the biggest winner of the spring game this weekend because it was already announced that a
Yes.
lot of ones are going to play. But as a 2, he could come out of this thing just being, I mean, the talk of college football, not just Michigan football.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, that's the way things are trending. So this is a tremendous pick by you. I just like your team more already. But you know what? I got Marshall and Marsh. I can't be too mad about it. Man, this is where there's a guy that I'd love to take here, but I can't do it because you could really start to run away with this. I got to take Blake Frazier here. I got to take the tackle, 6'6", 295, 6 starts at left tackle. Blake Frazier. I think he'll probably end up being the best offensive lineman on this team this year. High praise from
Like that.
Guaranara, but there's also just nobody else for Guaranara. Like, I think Frazier wins this thing just because of his versatility. You could probably play either tackle position. He could slide into guard if need be, if it's like a Andy Babs thing. I feel pretty confident Blake Frazier is going to be the best offensive lineman on this team this year. I'm going a little bit like calling my shot here, but I really like Blake Frazier.
So you put him at tackle?
Putting him at tackle.
Okay.
Well, we'll see how the rest of this goes, but for now, tackle for sure.
Okay, it's your team, man. You can move him around as needed. I like this a lot. I'm a big Blake Frazier guy. I love the legacy commits. He's repped at both tackles during his career at Michigan and has really stood out in camp. So I know everyone's talking about the Andrew Babalola return, but like, let's not forget about Blake Frazier here because I think he's going to do some nice things.
I do not forget.
I think he's going to be on the line no matter what. That's the thing where you feel
Yeah.
safe about it. Like, I think they're going to be at guard or at tackle. And I think he possesses that kind of versatility, even if we haven't seen it yet.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there was some growing pains in year one, but there were also times where he looked like the best on the line.
I mean, it's a very savvy pick. I can't have this draft being my last one before fatherhood and not getting the Lord himself on my team. I am taking God Moore at free safety in this draft.
Let you have it. That was the one I said I want to take him.
I mean, a healthy Rod Moore at free safety is an All-American caliber player, but a healthy Rod Moore isn't something we've seen in 3 years. So that's the biggest concern here. That's what you're coming in with. But I mean, last year he had 1 pick and he played a game and a half. Like, he just has that type of talent. All the injury reports seem positive. He's giving glowing reviews, saying hasn't felt this good since pre-injury. So I'm going to bank on it. Also, I don't care. This is the last chance I get to draft Rod Moore, who's been one of my favorite players these last 5 years.
That was who I was considering with the last one. Obviously, the injury thing has to give you some pause. Because you're like,
absolutely.
what Rod Moore are we getting? You and I got to see him in one of the few games he played last year, and he looked like Rod Moore. And it was so warming to the heart, just warm the cockles of the heart, as Jim Harbaugh would say. Beloved. He's a ring holder. He is a ring bearer. He is a leader. He's got a future in coaching if he wants it. And to quote Isaiah 41:10, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. God Moore, 4 interceptions in 2022. Can he get back to that form? If so, holy leader in the back end, playmaker, secondary. Could it make up for the lack of defensive line, which went early and then no one is really interested in looking at right now? It might be good enough if Rod Moore's healthy. He is a swing player. I've got several players on my list with a little star next to him, swing player. He is the first one that we've drafted that I think is a swing player.
It's more of a battle against health. There's not talent. There's nothing else that concerns you. You feel like in Jay Hill's defense, he is going to be even more empowered than he was previously.
I'm with you, man. I am with you. All right. Outstanding stuff from you so far. Well, I guess now we will go ahead with where the board lines up, although I'd like to do some savviness here. Ooh. Okay. Let's do some gamesmanship. You can't go secondary again, so I will jump ahead. I do not have this player next. Give me JJ Buchanan.
I thought you might do that.
Yeah. That's draft savviness there. Not necessarily where I have this player next, but this was a freshman last year, folks. This guy in Marsh could be like around for the long haul. 26 receptions, 427 yards, 5 TDs. He's 6'4", 208, could line up as a tight end. You wouldn't bat an eye. I'm very high on this player. I think I have the number 1 and number 2 receiving options, but it's not bereft of talent below that.
No, I mean, 6'3", 225 pounds. He's a walking mismatch. He's very similar to Devin Funchess. And that's what I comped him to, like the way he
I
kicked
like
out
that.
last season. So I think he's going to be a nice possession receiver, familiarity within the offense. I knew this was the risk when I took Rod Moore, but at the end of the day, it's like I
I get it.
had to have my guy. But I'm very excited about JJ Buchanan. I mean, not amongst the diehard Michigan circles, but definitely at large, especially in like the Big Ten. I feel like he's kind of sliding under the radar.
Little bit. And in any other conference, I mean, no one was really watching Utah last year, but they're very exciting offense. I went back and watched some Utah games. It was later in the season. He started to emerge, which you'll see often with freshmen, see Andrew Marsh. But this guy, man, walking mismatch, as you said, looks the part. Got some Joe Jaravicious to the game because you
Like
got to
that.
go white to white. But I mean, I'm nonetheless, I just think that this guy could be an absolute stud, could be in for a monster year. Doesn't have the chemistry yet with Underwood. And there's been maybe another guy that'll go in this draft that I've seen a little bit more, at least from the limited reps that we've seen, limited footage we've seen from spring ball. But I think he's going to be a player for us, man. And with some uncertainty at tight end, I
Yeah.
think having that big target could be big. Looks like a good red zone target for Bryce.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's been repeated a lot about his participation in spring camp is sure-handedness. Like just catches everything. And with that catch radius, I think it's going to be just a nice compliment to Andrew Marsh on the outside. Well done there.
It's a fun pairing too,
It's a
right?
good,
Different things they're bringing to the table.
exactly. For my next pick, I'm going to go right back to the trenches. I'm taking Andrew Babalola at left tackle.
How I had it.
He was going to be the starting left tackle last season. All indications are he's going to be right back in the mix this season once he gets healthy. My team is all dependent upon health, but he's the most talented offensive lineman on the roster. I mean, it was a surefire thing last season. He was on pace to be the second starting true freshman left tackle in Michigan history. That says something there. I think with Jim Harding at offensive line coach, he's just going to further develop. And I don't think we're going to see as much rust as we would had this Utah staff not been in the building.
I had him as a top 10 player in this draft, dropped him just outside of it right before the draft, and went with the sure thing of Frazier, where I was just like, I know this guy's on the line. He could still be better than Andy Babs. Like he could have like a Trevor Keegan, John Runyon Jr. type of trajectory. But if Andy Babs hits, boy, you just hit a home run. Like you didn't hit a double, you hit an absolute like missile out of the
Yeah, he just has that type of talent. It's rare, and I think the Jim Harding, Kyle Whittingham sell to bring him back was one of the top priorities right after Underwood.
I love the bet. I really considered him over Frazier, but when you got Guaranara, that kind of I was like, I can't take a swing with my first pick.
Yeah.
Like you got to get somebody that's going to be on this line and could be a 4-year letterman at Michigan. Andy Babs could still be that. Andy Babs has all the ceiling in the world. I'm high on him. Ended up we'll talk some like where we had some of these players later on. I don't want to get into that now because we're still in the thick of this thing. Tony, where are we at here? So we are in round 5. My pick.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Bottom of 5. Okay. All right. Well, then with the second move of the gamesmanship from last pick, I will go Zeke Berry. I will dress my secondary there. Last year, fascinating how much I went back and forth with Zeke Berry and Jair Hill. On rewatch, it's Zeke Berry, not by a wide margin, but by a margin. The reason Zeke Berry maybe slides under the radar for some people, it's so easy for him. He gets noted for his physicality. He's effortlessly doing a lot of what he's doing out there. If you wanted to say Jair Hill was the number one because he was guarding number ones and got targeted less because of what he was shutting down, I would accept that. But 10 passes broken up last year has to mean something, man. Has to mean something. Andy tackles. He's a ring bearer. Zeke Berry.
He was the only all-conference Michigan defensive back last year, and that has to mean something. And
Has to.
whether it be at corner, where he's been Michigan's best the last couple of years, I'm fully on that side. I just think he's been flat out better than Jair here on that side. Or if he moves back to safety or nickel, you get a little bit of versatility here. And I think with the importance placed on nickel, similar to Michigan's 2023 defense, I think you could see him play a lot more nickel this year. But it wouldn't surprise me if Jay Hill moves him around like a chess piece.
Yeah, he very well could be. And there's a couple guys that are going to be mentioned and drafted here that could move around. So Zeke Berry's role, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm very excited. Like you can't even say names at this point in the draft. We're in full embargo mode. I can't even like remind you a player exists. Like you've forgotten about somebody on this roster.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get into all of them at the end, though, which is going to be a fun discussion. Coming back to me, looking at the board. Okay, I am going to go. I just went offensive lineman, didn't I? Yeah, I went Andrew Babalola left tackle. So coming back to me, I'm going to keep building my team the way I like roster building to be built. I'm going to take Trey Pierce at defensive tackle.
I was like, I had him highlighted. I was like, gamesmanship says this is where you go. Yep, this was the guy I asked you about last week.
Yeah, I was like, you got to build through the trenches. There are some fun players at defensive tackle, but Pierce is the guy. Like, he's the one to get here. He has 3 years of playing experience and was named a spring team captain. He was co-named most improved player on the defense last year after putting up numbers that are comparable to Chris Hinton in 2021. He's never going to be a Mo Hurst or a Mason Graham, but could he be a Mozzie Smith level run stuffer this year?
It's a tremendous pick. It's our first snipe of the evening. I knew there was one coming. I won't count first overall pick as a snipe. That's not how it works. But this was, I had him highlighted. I was like, I've got to address this. And it's a drop off from JHD to Pierce. I don't know if there's a big drop off after that. Like, it's concerning. And you had a conversation with someone in Ann Arbor recently about like where are we at with the defense, and it was kind of like ho hum. Something tells me that this might be the reason. Like JHD first, big drop, Trey Pierce, not because you gotta have him, but because like we need to fill out a defensive line. There's got to be someone to take snaps. That might sound a little discourteous to Trey Pierce, who I believe had 6 tackles against Ohio State. He was an honorable mention all Big Ten selection. There is a ceiling here. There is a ceiling. I don't want to undersell this. I feel like I'm underselling it.
If you go back to the Alabama ReliaQuest bowl game and you watch him 2-gap on the interior with Rayshon Benny, that's the player you're hoping to have this season. And like I'm really high on Larry Black, the defensive tackles coach. He's just a ball of energy. He's super charismatic, and I think it's going to unlock it. I heard the interview with Trey Pierce on In the Trenches and talking about developing as a pass rusher, rounding out his game. And I'm excited. This is a player that's a little more leap of faith, but compared to some of the other leaps of faith on this team, you have 3 years of experience. You can see the ceiling and you've seen the highs.
He's in this 2023 class, which is one of the more bizarre classes you'll ever see, where it's only the guys at the bottom sticking around. Not highly rated, a 3-star, 6'2", 310 pounds. Oh, that's about right where I like my defensive tackles for leverage.
Edo was the top pick in that class, wasn't he? He was the number one guy.
He was the most highly rated, up there along with Jair Hill and Brandon Hillman, and then a morass of guys that you may have forgotten. I mean, it's a bit of a black hole, that 2023 recruiting class. Wait, who else was in that here? We've got Etta. Do you remember Jason Hewlett? Can I interest you in a Merrick Kumba?
Merrick Kumba was the edge rusher, wasn't he? And then Hewlett was a linebacker.
Hewlett was an athlete. I think they did have him lined up at linebacker. But look at you, man.
Come on.
Can't get one pass. You got to get up pretty early to get pass on this guy. And then he's about to be a dad. Oh, man, his skills will only sharpen. He's going to be on it. All right, where we are at. We are at bottom of 6. My last pick was in the secondary, so I can't go secondary. Time to go back to the offensive line. You've done some great work with the D-line. I will go ahead and take Andrew Sprague here. Look, man, I was big on Andrew Sprague at one point last year, and I feel like he let me down, but that's a me thing. Maybe it was an expectations thing. There's still a lot to like with Sprague. It's been rumored that they're trying him out at guard. He's 6'8", 315. If that works, power to you. I don't know that I've seen that, but if need be, this can be my other tackle. Frazier could move into guard on my team that I'm building out. Nonetheless, I'm just trying to get the best few guys out there. Sprague sounds like he's one of the best 5. My guess would be he'll find a way onto this offensive line.
The best selling point I can offer you for selling you on your own player is he has 13 career starts at right tackle and has only allowed 1 sack.
There's a player here. There's a guy that they're probably going to find a way to get on there. And if that means it has to be Sprague, Babs, and then Frazier has to kick inside, as good of a tackle as he is, then so be it. Exactly. Link, I think, is an easier push. Well, again, I don't want to talk too much about this. Here I go again, talking about the roster.
Okay, coming back to me. I can't let you snipe both. I'm going to take Jair Hill at the other quarterback spot. Another name I considered here just because Jair Hill only has 1 more career interception than Kenneth Grant, but I'm assuming he had that.
Come on now.
I know. He has 2 career interceptions.
You gotta watch the game though. Like, he shuts down the number 1 receiver in a lot of contests.
If he just didn't have feet for hands, he would lead the country in picks.
I know it, brother. You and I have gone back and forth on this so much.
Nonetheless, he does bat down a lot of balls. He plays some of his best corner against some of his best opponents. Like you saw it against Alabama, against Ryan Williams in the ReliaQuest Bowl. You saw him really step up against Ohio State this past year. Had the interception right off the bat. We're like, oh, we're back. We are so back.
Uh-huh.
I just think if he can put it all together, like there's an all conference type of corner in that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there, man. I'm very well with you. I'm a Gyre Hill truther, and at times I've got to separate myself from it because he's one of the guys I locked in on early. I believe he came out of Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was like following in the lineage of some of the greats that have come out of Michigan and played for Michigan. So I've been in on him for a while. And it's not that he's disappointed me, but there should be way more interceptions. The ball skills just are not there, but the hips are there. The size is there. The fluidity, the athleticism is there. This is a season, man. I'm going to add him to my swing players list because there's a player in here that is just much better than what we've seen. And if he can just catch some of these interceptions, he would have like a 3 interception year, a 4 interception year on his record. It's going to vault him up draft boards. I think that there's a really good player here. I think this is a really good pick for you. All right. I went to the offensive line on the last one. Man, feels like I need to go to the defensive line, but my fingers hurt from scrolling, trying to get to who I have next on the defensive line. So I will take Smith Snowden, transfer corner. Last season, 85 tackles, 6 TFLs, 4 interceptions. You want turnovers? There you go. Returned one of them for a touchdown. Knocked down 17 passes, had a rushing touchdown. I've got some nickname options for you for Smith Snowden because he's that kind of player. We're going to love this guy. You ready for these?
Do it.
I give you the whistleblower. All right.
I honestly, we could stop there.
Well, we can't because wait till you hear these next two. John Snowden. Okay, not okay. I thought you might like that one a little bit more. I'm a little hurt, but I'm gonna keep moving. The Snowman.
That's more in my obscure wheelhouse.
Or how about Frosty, the most notable snowman? You just call him Frosty. You got some great options here.
I was not expecting that. Frost.
Come on now. That's pretty strong. Put some work into this. Acknowledge me.
Man, that is tremendous work. That is so good. The whistleblower is my favorite, though. Just right in with the
Whistleblower.
Snowden guy. That's so good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm building out a secondary here. Nickel, probably, right?
You can
Probably
play a
where he
nickel
ends
or
up.
corner. Yeah, you can play a nickel or corner because
Either
again, you have
or.
a little flexibility with the back end in this draft.
Talk about chess piece. I love this guy's tape. When we were doing, like, I had to do some catch up on JHD and Buchanan and Smith Snowden. This was the tape where I was like adjusting the britches, where I was like, oh, Smith Snowden rocking the number 2 out there, playing like he wants it. I'm a fan.
He was their leading receiver in game 1 last year. Has that type of versatility. Could also be a factor on special teams. So
Yes.
I would most certainly keep an eye out for that. Okay, I gotta dip into the well here, and I don't know. Do I go on? I guess both are kind of ceiling options here at receiver. It's the conversation. The argument is between Celeste Moa and French, and I'm going to go Celeste Moa. Kyle Whittingham's really raved about 2 offensive freshmen. There have been a couple that have been getting first-team reps, but it's Savion Hyder, and normally it's quickly followed by Celeste Moa. I think he was recruited at Utah for a reason. I think he's going to find a role within this Michigan offense. He'll be firmly in discussion for wide receiver 3. There is a lot of juice with this player. And there have been rave reviews coming out, and that is very rare for a freshman. Like, it's players like Marsh that you hear this about, but it's very few and far between. So I'm going to bank on the upside of Moa.
It's a good pick, man. You want to talk about swing player? Maybe not for this year, but for the roster. I have a big check mark next to him. What is his role going to be? We talked about it in an earlier podcast. Like, there's now all of a sudden a lot of talent in front of him. You mentioned Jamie French as well. Like, can he get ahead of French? The only thing I'm certain of is he will see game action. I would be incredibly surprised if this guy redshirts. In fact, I'm going to call it now. No redshirt for
Gyre Hill comped him to Roman Wilson 2 weeks ago.
He's huge, though, isn't he? He's way bigger than I thought. What do I have him listed at here? I thought he was like, when I watched the tape, I was like, oh, a little 6-foot Roman Wilson. Wilson's 5'11", 6 foot.
He's
6'2".
Yeah, he's 6'2", 175. So he's slight, but he's got the height.
Yeah. I mean, that's much bigger than Roman Wilson. That's a different prospect.
I think it's kind of like the fluidity, the way he moves on the field. You know how Roman was the smooth operator and could always change pace and then get up to full speed really fast. It was like, why is nobody catching him? So I think it's that type of route runner, which is
it's a fun pick, man. I was thinking there would be a way where you got Buchanan and then I was going to grab Moa right around here.
Yeah.
So we see it kind of the same way. Yeah, really good pick, really fun player. And again, like him and Buchanan, they're here for the long haul. Obviously, the transfer portal exists, but like those should be guys that you should get used to. You should start to know their game, and a lot of fun, really fun tape for him as well. All right, man. Like, I guess I have to take. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Oh my God, there's a bit of a drop happening here. I don't know how your board's looking, but things are dropping off over here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few players I still have, like I've been color coded that are higher up, but it's like it's jumping 2 colors down now.
All right, sweet. I'll take Cam Brandt. Really running to the podium for this one. Uh, he's 6'4". He's a senior, and he's played a lot of games. He's got 40 games of snaps. He's a ring bearer. He's a ring bearer. So I'll take the ring bearer here. Give me Cam Brandt because Andy took the top 2 defensive linemen. And man, there is, like you mentioned something about wishing there was a spring portal. I think we could have used the D lineman. I think there's a real need here, and Cam Brandt could fill that need. I mean, there's a number of guys. There's some, obviously we got to fill out these defensive lines. There's a number of guys that have opportunity. So if you're looking for optimism, opportunity on the defensive line.
There is opportunity. Now, Cam Brandt was a little lower on my board. He wasn't my second edge, but if you like the flavor of being a like edge setting dominant force against the run, Cam Brandt's your guy. He is excellent against the run. He's got the big frame. I believe he's right around 270 pounds, very similar to Benny Patterson on this team, all trying to be the next Chris Wormley at Michigan. So he's going to set the edge, but can he take that next step as a pass rusher? That's the big question, because the inverse of this is Nate Marshall, who Nate Marshall knows how to rush the passer. He can do that in his sleep. He can't do much else, but boy, he can rush the passer.
Yeah, well, 0 sacks and a career game of 2 tackles for Nate Marshall. So I took a more sure thing that I've seen start in games. I don't love taking him this early. And there's another guy that I really weighed back and forth. I went sure thing over potential. I think I know who you're talking here, though.
Yeah, there's another guy there as well. So we'll get back to that. We'll circle back. I still got to be a little cagey with you. I'm going to dip back onto the offensive line. I'm going to take Evan Link at tackle.
That's the other one that I was considering here.
I was like, that's the one. I mean, he could be one of the most improved players on Michigan's roster if he plays more naturally on the inside. But for all intents and purposes in this draft, I'm going to play him at tackle.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. We called him the missing link, and then spotty is how I would call it with Evan Link. There's a game where you're just like, man, was Evan Link kind of good in that? And then there's games where you're like, that is just not going to do it. I think we both see his future on the inside of this,
especially
line.
At the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the sooner he kicks inside, the better it is for him. I had him higher than Cam Brandt by several positions, but that's just the way the draft goes. Yeah. Just the way the draft goes. I think Evan Link is a much better player than Cam Brandt. And I think Evan Link will see time on this offensive line. I think he will eventually just end up at guard this year. We both have said it. Let's keep with our prediction.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he does, and he has that flexibility. He can play both sides of the offensive line, which not every lineman can do.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I am going to go ahead and take Mason Curtis here. I'm going to be cagey with you and not tell you where I'm playing him yet, but you can probably guess where that's at.
Okay, he can play safety. He can play nickel. He's played at both safeties as well. I'd love for you to play him at third linebacker and just really get me excited, though.
You know me well. You know me well. That's likely where things go. I think he's a player that needs to see time. He's absolutely massive. He's got experience. I can play him in my secondary if need be. We'll see how things go with the linebackers. I'm fascinated to see how you have them ranked. But yeah, none have been taken yet. So we'll put him at safety / linebacker for now and see how the draft plays out.
It's a good, flexible piece. A lot of your team is built that way. I like that strategy. Yep. I have to balance this out a little bit. I'm going to go back to running back, and I'm taking Bryson Cusdall.
Understood. Totally get it.
I mean, he's in the conversation for the most overqualified running back 3 in the country. Not many backups in his position have a 100-yard, 3-touchdown game on their resume, especially with his speed. What Jason Beck could use him in space. Kind of like how we were clamoring for Chris Evans to be used in space for so many years. Beck is the innovative mind to really put this player in a position to succeed. And not to mention, there are a ton of carries in this offense. he's going to get more than he did last season, even in this maybe slightly diminished, it feels diminished role of the true like three-way split. But I think Cousins is going to have an impact this season, be a really good player.
The cousin. We love him, man. Like, that is a gutty performance. You do not come into the 2026 season expecting to be the lead ball carrier against Ohio State. You know, that's just not what he signed up for, man. And he acquitted himself well. I think if he put on a pound or two this offseason, like, there's a chance that he is, maybe the best third running back in the history of Michigan. Although, never mind, Hassan Haskins was at one point RB3.
Yeah,
So
maybe not history at Michigan, but maybe he might be the best in the country this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. Really good pick. Big fan of his game. All right, so coming back to me, man, trying to get cagey with it here, but I think what I'll do is take Dom Nichols. I think I'll take Dom Nichols here at the edge position.
That's the edge I was referencing. I would have taken him first, simply
I
because
have them directly next to each other. Couldn't come up with an answer.
Outpaced Brant in both sacks and TFLs last season and played 207 less snaps.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's more of a high ceiling there. I took the starts for Brant, the experience, the fact that I know he can come out there and be okay. And with Brant Nichols, you can field a defense with that. I mean, hell, like Purdue would love that. Purdue would love to run out Cam Brant, Tom Nichols.
Nichols, I'm pretty high on Nichols. I'm higher than the consensus on what he could be this season. I think there's a lot to work with there. He needs to refine his game a little bit. But I think like he could really benefit from a new staff evaluation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's some other guys that'll probably get drafted here that got some pop, but man, you really having JHD and Trey Pierce kind of put me off there. I've got to have starters at the end of this. When we come back and look, I've got to have guys that played snap.
Yeah, that's good to have those sure things that, like, okay, they're going to play, they're going to be on the field, they're going to have an impact. Okay, coming back to me, I'm going to take Chris Bracey at safety.
Love it.
The Memphis transfer. I mean, last year at Memphis, he had 81 tackles, 9.5 TFLs, and led the conference with 9 pass deflections. And reportedly, one of the biggest surprises of spring ball, he has been excelled as a sure tackling box safety. I think there's going to be a lot of production and a lot of snaps for him this season, close to the line of scrimmage.
Very good chance you have the starting safety duo with Rod Moore and Chris Bracey. That's how I have it on paper. I have Bracey ahead of Curtis. I went roster versatility over who I think the player could be. Love Chris Bracey. Just like, I mean, a pro in the sense of like a college player, and now it's become more like the pro game. Ready to go. Yaxel Lendenborg, ready to go. This dude is going to come out and play for us. I think he's going to play a lot of snaps. Michigan fans are going to love him. Really good pick by you. All right, Tony, let me vamp for a minute here. What do we got? We got one more pick after this before the break?
Yeah, I think we're on round 11 right now. Pick is to you. Let's do round 12, and then we will take a break right there. We'll review our picks and then take a break right there.
All right, sounds good. A number of ways I could go here. Offensive line needs a lot of work. We've taken the guys. I took a guy that didn't excite me. In fact, I took back-to-back guys that didn't excite me. I'm not doing that again. All right. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to enjoy myself. Like, we want our guys on the team. I'm not letting you sneak ahead and get them. Give me a Nathaniel Owusu Boateng, baby. My stockbroker jumped into a river. I am so over leveraged on this guy, but I went back and I watched the tape. See ball, get ball. I'll be collecting rainwater from gutters on Boateng Island. NOB, 10 toes down. This is my guy. Give me Owusu Boateng. Give me Mason Curtis. I've got some tackling in the middle of my defense.
He's the most talented linebacker on this roster, but sub 220 linebackers worry me greatly. At 217 pounds, I'm like, can we a little bit more, especially with a full season ahead? That's my only concern with him.
No, it's a very real concern, but I'm buying in. This is my big swing. He also has my largest check mark swing players for the 2026-2027 season. Put this one in bold, man. This guy's got to hit. This guy's got to hit for us. So I'm all in. In for a penny, in for a pound. What more can I leverage? The mortgage is already in on NOB. So it's in here. He's my starting linebacker.
Also, like, take your guy. This is very similar to my Rod Moore pick.
I just took Cam Brant and Dom Nichols, and I'm flaccid about it. I'm very unhappy about it.
All right, coming back to me, I'm going right back to the defensive interior. I'm taking Eno Etta at the other defensive tackle
Had to do it
position.
because I was coming for it. I was like, I can make up for it by getting Etta here.
The staff worked very hard to retain him after he entered the portal with a little more experience at defensive tackle. The new regime clearly thinks he can put it all together. He has the talent, showed flashes last season, and he's going to start next to Trey Pierce on the line.
High ceiling, the prized recruit of the 2023 black hole of a recruiting class. This was like the Luigi Villain, the Imeric Kumbas, the, take your pick of guys with a high upside that we were all buying in on to come in and save the line. This is your season, man. You want to talk about opportunity? And it's not like he's different than like Luigi Villain in the sense that this guy can play.
Yeah.
Like he will go out there and play, and you can count on Eno Etta for credible reps. We're just watching for the ceiling. Like we're really hoping that, like, brother, can you reach that high 4-star ceiling that you came in as, that we were all excited to see? And if he does, man, sky's the limit. It's a really good pick. I was coming for him next.
It's just he has the talent. He's just got to put it all together.
Yep, I'm with you, brother. All right, last pick before the break. Man, a couple of ways I could go here.
Ton of ways, dude. This part of the draft is probably my favorite segment because, like, you can go this way, I'm gonna go that way. But you and I have been doing a much better job of not letting one person dictate it, throwing a curveball here and there, so it's not so chalky.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And I've gone way out of order on some guys here. Like I have a guy pretty high on this that I'm going to let sit for a minute. Man, once again, do you go with the boring pick or do you call your shot? Worth mentioning here at this part of the draft that Cole Sullivan was not drafted last year. So that's why this big miss by us by that, but that's where like these little picks in the middle of the draft were like, is it NOB or is it this guy? That's where these picks really swing a draft like this later on. So I want to get this one right. And to do so, I am going to take Brady Norton on the offensive line.
Me through it.
Going to go back to the offensive line here. Afobe I have higher. I have a great deal higher.
Oh, wow. You're not taking Afobe here. This is fascinating. Okay.
No, you know what? All right. So what did I do last pick? I went NOB. All right. Norton excites me more.
Take your guy. Don't let me talk you out of it.
Norton's not my guy. NOB is my guy. I have Afobe 8 spots higher than Brady Norton because the size, versatility, and the fact that he's younger. But I'll take Afobe here for the start.
Is he your guy, though?
Neither is Norton. That's the difference. Norton's not my guy. My guy is I got to be cagey with you here.
I hate
my
that
guy
I
is yet to be
that I helped you make this pick.
I have him 8 spots higher. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I can show it to. I have him way higher. But at this point in the draft, you want to look at how's this going to look in 2 years. That's why you go Norton over Afobe, is how does this look in 2 years? But for right now, I also want to like make this about the 2026 season. And Afobe's going to see starts. So it's Afobe. But I have him 8 spots higher. You did help me with that pick, but it's boring. But like guys like Nichols, Brandt, and Afobe are going to matter this season. Whereas like Norton could transfer to freaking Georgia Tech next year, like Miles Spider Sims. I can't make that mistake again. So you did help me. Thank you for that. But you got the first pick. So
I hate myself for that. Afobe is, in my mind, clear the pick here. He has 5 career starts, 4 at left guard, 1 at right guard. I mean, and take it with a grain of salt, but he was Michigan's best pass blocker last year per PFF.
Yeah, no, it is. What I wrote about Afobe is like, what's the ceiling? And some of that comes back to recruiting rankings, and that shouldn't come into something like this because clearly guys outperform recruiting rankings all the time, particularly on the offensive line. See John Runyon Jr., and like Afobe's had that slow build, the kind of guy that honestly we should celebrate, and I want to celebrate here. I'm less excited about Cam Brandt and Dom Nichols. I'm more excited about Afobe. He should be the pick here. He is the pick here. Yeah, let's take a break and then we'll come back and talk about what we've done. All right, we are back. We are callous and petty men during the spring game draft. We are here trying to ruin the other one's day. So far, looks like a pretty even balance. Man, it's so great having Tony here so that I don't have to, vamp, talk about stats. mark everything down, look to draft strategy. I think that's helped for a more even result thus far.
Yeah, you don't have to just flip back and forth between screens and worry about hosting at the same time. It makes a big difference.
It does. Shall we run through where we're at here? You want to run through your team?
Yes. So we'll run through the picks here. First overall pick, I took John Henry Daly. Then I went Jake Guarnera, Savion Hyder, Rod Moore, Andrew Babalola, Trey Pierce, Jair Hill, Celeste Moa, Evan Link, Bryson Cusdaw, Chris Bracey, Eno Etta.
Yeah, man, I can't say there's a big surprise. I had JHD number 1. I had him as the number 1 pick myself. That's where I was going to go. I thought you might go Marshall just because of your personal preference. But then again, I know you well. And I was like, he wants to win more than he wants his guy. He'll find a guy. There's guys to be had.
Still got Rod.
You still got Rod. You got your guy. And maybe that was the pick where you're like a little bit more trepidatious, but that's just because of injury. Like the player you got, my word.
It's my boy.
That's your boy. It's a good balance, man. It's a good balance. So let's compare that against my team where I went Jordan Marshall, Andrew Marsh, the Marsh boys. Then I went Blake Frazier. Immediately, I think I started to take some swings. That was the first big swing. Then JJ Buchanan, Peak Berry, Andrew Sprague, Smith Snowden, Cam Brandt, Mason Curtis, Tom Nichols, Daniel Owusu Boateng, and Nathan Afobe. So a lot of draft gamesmanship happened there, particularly after like round 4.
You could really see you be starting to panic that you didn't have many players on defense. And then it was Smith, Snowden, Brandt, Curtis, Nichols. Like, I have to get this defense. Otherwise, Andy's going to draft one of these players and I'm going to be stuck with players I hate on defense.
Yeah, exactly. Or you do the like swing for a freshman or a sophomore that's never played, hoping that down the line they become something. But we've been doing this for 10 years, man. Like, we've seen how that goes. You can get guys that never play a snap at Michigan. So, I mean, previous experience has really played into this one, as you would expect it would. But, early indicators, no one's run away with it. I would say early indicators
balanced.
Yep. And, obviously we need the season to see. Like, if John Henry Daly has 22 sacks and Cam Brandt never sees the field, well, there we have it.
Yeah, things can quickly, right the ship. But again, they always take twists and turns. Like, right after we do a draft, we try to declare a winner, but it's never that easy.
100%, man. All right, so we are on to pick 13. The last pick was by me. It was Nathan Afobe. Your last pick was on the defensive line. So anywhere but defensive line to you.
I'm going to take Jordan Young at nickel.
Oh, one of my guys.
Jordan Young improved all last season, played his best game of the year against Texas. He's my favorite sophomore this year to take a massive leap in terms of production. He can play safety or nickel, but since I already have Rod and Chris Bracey, I'm going to play him at nickel.
Needed to do it because I got Mason Curtis and Smith Snowden. You're like, man, this guy's filling up on guys that can both do a lot of things in there. And I think Jordan Young can do a lot of things in there. This is right where I had Jordan Young. Yeah. We see it the exact same way, dude. I'm a big fan of his game. And, I was always a Jacob Oden guy, but when a guy comes along that is what you want Jacob Oden to be, this is just what I wanted from Jacob Oden. So, yeah, I'm excited about him.
Jacob Oden can still be your boy in this draft, and he did have as many interceptions last year as Jair Hill, so it balances.
Come on now.
I'm just
Jair Hill's on your team.
I know he's on my team. Well, it's like, what do coaches say when a player has a bad game? We challenge them in practice. That's what I'm doing to Jair. I'm challenging him right now.
Challenging you in practice. Props to you. All right, man. Now, man, we are in such an interesting part of this draft because there's a lot of this like calling your shot stuff. You got one of the last guys that's a known commodity. I've got 2 to 3 other known commodities here.
There's more, yeah.
I'm going to take here we go. Do I do it? All right.
I'm not helping you this time. I'm going to keep my mouth shut until it's official.
Tony, help me. I'm going to take Nathaniel Staling.
Nice. Okay. I like that.
Linebacker, team captain as a senior, 6'2", 238, played 13 games, 75 tackles, 6 TFLs, pops on tape, looks like a linebacker. This guy's going to get snaps, even if it's at depth. I could easily see a world where he beats these other guys out. He can communicate. He was a captain. This dude came to play. He didn't come to Michigan to sit the bench. It's a jump up in competition thing for me. It's just the jump up in competition thing for me. How does that translate? Looked really good on tape. Doesn't even have tape. because like you can't just go back and watch like his tape. You've got to go back and watch the games, which I did. I watched 2 games for the damn North Dakota State Bisons or wherever the hell he came from, just to watch him. And you can't even see the numbers in the games, but I'm like, man, I really hope that's him there, 52. And then you like zoom in, and you're like, that's him. Okay, this guy pops. So I've got Boateng, I've got Curtis, I got Staling. I'm taking a shot here. I'm taking a swing. Linebackers are a godforsaken black hole.
I like the balance here. I like you going with the Nate Wu-Tang for the upside, the talent, the undersized thing. And I like Nate Stalling at 6'2", 238. That's what I really like about him. He has that size. And you trust the North Dakota State program. They may be technically FCS, but North Dakota State puts as many players in the NFL as an
Trey
average
Lance,
power
Bryce
14.
Lance.
Like
yeah,
there's
they put guys
there's a
out
lot
there.
of talent up there. No,
yeah, they play real football there.
They play real football there. So I like this. Coming back to me, I'm going to go with another transfer here. I'm going to go with Jamie French.
You have to do it.
It couldn't escape me from here. He's shown a great ability to get open and make tough catches early in spring ball. You're kind of going out on a limb here, but I feel like we have the top 4 receivers off the board now.
I do as well. I have him as a semi-swing player because you're starting to see stuff in spring tape, but like that's just what's leaking out. You know, they kind of want you to see the Jamie French thing. You've heard whispers. Can he get past Buchanan? Maybe. He's not getting past Marsh. So at best, you're looking at third. You took Moa first for a reason. I don't want this to sound like I'm talking down on French. This guy has a higher ceiling than Goodwin, Kendrick Bell, Marion Stewart, anybody we've had on this roster in recent years. This is a former high 4-star.
Yes.
What did I have him at here? I think he was the number 9 wide receiver in that class. Yeah, he's a top 10 wide receiver in the class.
Yeah. So he has the talent. What he's shown in practice is something I think Michigan was really missing last year, and that's the ability to separate and get open. And I think having just different pieces around Marsh, it's going to help everybody. You know, rising tide lifts all ships.
Could he cause us to rethink our views on the French?
Let's not go that far. All right.
He doesn't have that power. All right. Oh man, do I even want to do it? I've never been that guy. I've never been 10 toes down on this guy, but the most likely best tight end is Hogan Hansen. Give him to me.
He's the most talented in the room.
He's the most talented. Is he that much better than Zach Marshall or whoever? I mean, there's actually another guy here that I have not far behind either of them. I don't know that there's a big drop off. This is a swing. Oh,
I mean, Hogan Hansen is the most talented tight end in the room if he can stay healthy. He could be a top 3 receiver on this team, but that's a massive if. Once again, it's the injury concern.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I don't have a big drop off there, but you're looking for sure things out here.
Absolutely.
So I took a massively injured player.
Yeah, that's a sure thing in quotes right now, what we're trying to do. Okay, coming back to me. I am going to take Shamari Earls at the other corner.
That's who I thought about going there. I have him very high on my board. I've already filled out a lot of corner spots.
Yeah, so I needed one more to fill out my secondary. I feel good about this. There's a drop off to a few other players like a JoJo Edmond, who I don't feel confident in. Shamari Earls has the talent. What concerns me, though, is you come in wearing the number 2 as a true freshman and you register more penalties than tackles, TFL, sacks, interceptions, and PBUs combined. So the fact that he's sticking around with this new staff and their evaluation, their development gives me encouragement. If it was the same staff, I don't think I would have drafted him.
Or if he would have transferred somewhere and you're like, man, this guy, like all the talent in the world, but he transfers to Florida. It's like, dude, this guy needs time on task.
Yes.
I have him as my number 17 player. I have him extremely high.
Yeah. That was your guy.
Extremely high. It was my guy. He has incredible hips. His ability, I love when you can get your head around and see a pass coming. If you can translate that with tackling and with the ability to read a defense and to adjust out there on the fly and to show physicality, there's just so many other pieces that he doesn't have yet. But that ability to get your head back around and ball skills and athleticism, I've seen that. Whereas like with Andy Babs, I was like, well, I've seen high school tape. So yeah, I had Earls really high, but I was nervous about it. So man, these drafts are so stressful for me because I'm doing things in the moment where I was like, should I have just take, because I thought about Earls right there, but I ended up taking Hansen. It's a really great pick by you. I hope it doesn't come back to bite me. All right, coming back to me on the defensive side, I could go. Offense is looking pretty good. Tony, tell me my offensive line. Show me my offensive line, my sweet man. All right. My offensive line currently looking like Frazier and a Phobie to
And
your
Sprague.
Babs and Sprague. Yeah, so and Sprague there. So I've got 3, you've got 3. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, from a balance standpoint. All right. So I think we should probably be looking for best player available here. And we're into a very interesting part of this debate.
I love this.
I am perplexed right now. Okay. Give me Oh my God. Give me Carter Meadows.
You don't need an edge. You have
What's
two
that?
edges. You have 2 edges already and 3 linebackers.
I have 2 edges, 3
You have no D
linebackers.
tackles.
I have Mason Curtis that can play in my secondary though, which I probably, in the way it's going, I'm going to do. Um, what defensive tackle would you recommend here? This defensive tackle list sucks. I want players that are going to hit. I'll
Like
move.
Carter Meadows at DT. You
No,
have to.
but
You have to have defensive tackles. You can't
I
just
don't want
not try-
one. You come over here, you fly out here to Denver, and you make me take a defensive tackle
Well,
on this team.
I mean, since I already have both of mine, there's a couple defensive tackles. I mean, you have the transfer, obviously, in Jonah Le'e. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
And then you
I
have
have him.
You have Alistair Vallejo. You have
I have Titan Davis,
Davis.
ahead of him. I have
Yeah, you
Titan
have Titan
Davis
Davis.
ahead of him.
One of the biggest names in camp is David Palpali. I mean, is it finally going to happen? But per Sam Webb, he may be the spring's biggest growth story after dropping 40 pounds.
I have Palpelli 49th on my board, but I actually didn't hear that little nugget there. So I have Titan Davis as the highest of those guys. But again, like I should probably keep with my draft strategy here. The plan there would have been to like force Cam Brandt to go inside. Be like, I'm sick of you, Cam Brandt. You're moving inside. I'm so done with you. Dude, this is a problem though. Like, look at where we're at on the defensive line.
That's what
like we are struggling on this. And like, I don't have anyone that I'm excited to take. Titan Davis would be the most exciting person to take here. Pally. Give me Jonah Leah.
That's the pick.
Give me Jonah Leah. I have not far off of here. What is this? Six spots from here. I am below Titan Davis, but I really like Titan Davis. And I also like our boy, the Zodiac killer.
Vallejo.
Exactly. So I have those guys pretty high, and I value their ceiling over guys that, like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this defensive tackle group, and I think this is illustrating it.
I think so. I think there's a depth concern here, but Le'e is the choice. I mean, he had 38 tackles last year, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. He's a player, and he has experience as well. He's just, I believe he's only a sophomore, or that might have been as a freshman he put up those numbers. So I think that's the pick here. You have the proven commodity, you have the production coming in, and that makes much more sense than putting Cam Brandt, who struggles at edge, to play starting defensive tackle.
Look, man, we're going to piece it together. Don't you worry about us.
I'm never worried about the Mays team over there. All right, coming back to me, I'm going to take Zach Marshall at tight end. Like I had to do it. Could let you get both there. I think he's built very similarly to Dallin Bentley, Utah's tight end 1 last year. He's going to be drafted probably in the middle rounds. And he was Michigan's most improved offensive player last season. Like voted on. He won the award. Like I think he does everything well, and he's healthy, which has been not a trend for most of my team.
Yeah, man. I had Zach Marshall 1 spot below him. Like, I really flip-flopped on this. Zach Marshall, more of a proven commodity. Also a guy that we've kind of watched for the last couple years because of the leadership, the fact that he's really involved in the team. He's outspoken. You hear coaches talk about him. I really like that about Zach Marshall, which is why, like, the Hansen swing could be one that I come back to regret. I really like Zach Marshall. This is a really good pick by you.
Once again, with he and Hansen, it's like, okay, do you pick the floor, the higher floor and the higher ceiling and the lower 4, or the player is going to be consistent? And you took the swing with the guy because that's what you need to do in the middle rounds, but you also see the value in just having that consistency.
This is definitely the time for swings, and I've taken my fair share of safe picks. You talked me into a better safe pick on the last one than swinging for Carter Meadows to play out of position, and I appreciate that about you. Come on now. That's why I'm sending you the LA Confidential Blu-ray.
Exactly. I mean, you already gave me the number 1 pick. What more could I ask for?
Nothing more, because I wouldn't give it to you. All right, looking at my team here. So you filled out a really nice secondary here. That is fully filled out. I could grab a safety. There's certainly some of those guys on the board that I like. don't think I need another cornerback. I think the linebackers are good. The defensive line is weak, but we've already discussed there's just not guys there. And I can't go back to that well after taking Jonah Leia anyway. Okay. I think I know where I want to go here. So I will go ahead and take the player I was going to take earlier, Brady Norton.
Lower on my
Tackle.
board now than he was last year. But I
Okay.
mean, yeah, but go ahead, sell me on him.
I don't really have much of a sell on you
Okay.
here. I don't really have the sell. I'm just taking someone that's seen the field.
It's very fair. I think my reservation is how quiet it's been on his front and a new staff. I mean, he stayed with the new staff, so that says a lot. But there's been a couple other guys that there's been some nuggets and some first team reps that get me a little bit more excited. Maybe I just have a bad taste in my mouth and I'm just overlooking and taking for granted his reps in the system last year. I mean, new system now, but nonetheless at Michigan. So it could be my mistake.
No, I don't necessarily think so. His starts were early last year. They became less as the season went along, so that's got to make you nervous. But
You want to set
here,
guard.
undetermined yet. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. I believe he has repped both. Kind of like think of him as like a poor man's Carson Barnhart right now. He's got that utility aspect to him. Not really a master of one position, but a jack of all.
And he's got the size at 6'6", where you could do a little bit of everything. So I think size here, recruiting pedigree, highly regarded coming out of college, or out of high school, excuse me.
Yeah. No, he has.
Right.
No, he checks a lot of boxes here. Okay, coming back to me, I am going to take. Things certainly do tighten up a little bit. I'm going to take Kendrick Bell at wide receiver. So I kind of have my choice here. You and I both need one more to fill out our teams. I rate Kendrick Bell just a little bit higher than Travis Johnson, Danny Goodwin, Jamar Browder, and a few others. And with Kendrick Bell, he scored his first career touchdown against Texas. He was at his best the last time we saw him, and I'm just not going to sell my stock just yet.
No need to. And I had him on my list, on my long list. There's a guy I had ahead of him, but you kind of already mentioned it. You've taken what you've seen, and that's been the conversation for a lot of these. Like,
who'd you have
you've
ahead of
seen
him?
a few starts.
I can't draft him.
Travis Johnson.
That's
just Travis Johnson. That's the only one. But yeah, that's who I had, and they're right next to each other. It's like a lot of these where I had guys like I had Brandon Nichols directly next to each other. For me, it was more of a pick 'em. Yeah. It was like, do you take the experience or do you take like a guy that's shown slightly more? There's a lot of those here. All right, coming to me after the Travis Johnson pick from you. All right, Tony, God bless you here. Showing what we got on the depth chart here. Marsh, all right, I don't need to do that. Can't go back to the offensive line. I will go ahead and take. Who was my last pick, Tony? Norton?
You had Brady Norton, and you
Titan.
are undecided whether center or guard.
Titan Davis.
There he is.
To Titan Davis here, who I had higher than all these other guys, but when you're playing poker, sometimes you can get put on the point there, and you can get absolutely spun. I was spun there early in those middle rounds. I'm coming back to form here. Titan Davis. Man, if you made me pick who has the better career, him or Vallejo, I'd probably just flip a coin. But Titan Davis on tape to me looked a little more physically imposing.
He was so refined in his technique, which is rare for a recruit, especially at defensive tackle. You say the thing about Vallejo, but it seemed a little bit more raw power, overwhelming high school opponents. With Davis, there's a lot to work with already. And you could see, I mean, it's not uncommon for a defensive tackle to get onto the field. And as we talked about the depth, this team might need him to get on the field early.
Yeah, no, very well could, man. Very well could. I have him as one of my necessary freshman contributors because of where we're at with defensive tackle. And there's another name here that could get drafted that's also there, really illustrating a concern here at defensive tackle at a place where Michigan has absolutely cut their teeth in the last decade too. This is bizarre to me. Like just how bereft this is, and that we're like, Titan Davis, come save us. You were just at prom 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's one of those where there's going to be a lot of burden on the shoulders of the upperclassmen. Kind of similar in the secondary a little bit. Kyle Whittingham mentioned that as one of the lead weaknesses was secondary depth. So I think depth is going to be an issue right now, especially getting your first glimpse at this team so late into the process.
Yeah, man. All right, it is to you, pick 18 or round 18.
This is a player that's probably not on your board, but according to a March 31st report, was repping with the ones during fall camp consistently. And this is a player I had over Brady Norton. That is true freshman Ace Hamilton. I'm taking him at guard here.
Ace Hamilton. I like it. Have him on my board,
Nice.
but I have a guy. I have a guy that I like more than him that's also a freshman. The Nuggets, I've only heard, there's 2 or 3 Nuggets you've mentioned that I haven't even heard. So maybe I didn't scour the depths of the internet widely enough. But at the same time, those things also told me Miles Spider Sims was a guy.
It's true.
So
I mean,
be wary of the whispers on the wind.
sometimes doing more work can back you into a corner here, but I like this. This one maybe take a little bit of time, especially if we're drafting up 10 linemen. Not all of them are going to play this season, but just getting reps at this level and impressing the new staff, getting that in front of Jim Harding, in front of everybody, I think it's going to be very valuable down.
Yeah, no, I like it. There's a couple really impressive recruits here on the guard. Now, I know you're not going to take the other one now at this point, so I can kind of say that like the future of the guard position might be in good hands. It was looking really tackle dominant. I like a couple guys here that we're bringing in at guard, especially if Link kicks in. If Link kicks in, guard is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, even if Blake Frazier kicks in too, there's a lot they can do with the way they've recruited this position. The complete opposite of the defensive line, to be honest.
Nope, I'm with you there. Okay, coming back to me. On the offensive line, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No need to go there.
Center still, right?
I think one of these guys is going to have to play center.
Okay, yeah, center or guard because Brady Norton's undecided, so you only need one there.
Yeah, we just don't know, man, which is
Mhm.
why Guarnar was the right pick early on, and which is why I knew whoever got first pick was going to dictate it. Because what you do is you go. I could have gone Guarnar and taken him from you, but
Yeah.
Jordan Marshall. I don't regret my first pick. No. All right, I am going to instead. What I'm going to do here is, guess I need a safety. Mason Curtis has already been moved there. Zeke Berry's there, or I could grab a corner, which I will do. And I will grab Jamarian Vincent, true freshman cornerback. This one is one I have heard some rumblings from spring. I haven't really been neck deep in it, but this is one that I'm hearing a great deal about. Highly regarded. I think has a chance to really surpass Josiah Edmonds this spring and potentially going into the fall. I'm going to take him over Josiah Edmonds. I think they're going to be more excited about him. I think he could take the place of the dearly departed, he who will not be named, who went to a rival Notre Dame cornerback that we were all really high on. Similar build here with Jamarian Vincent at 6'2". I'm excited about him. I'm going to take him here, and that's going to force Smith Snowden to nickel or it's probably safety. I'll put Smith Snowden at safety. And then I'll put Jamarian Vincent
And Smith
at corner.
could play nickel. He's more of a nickel.
Yeah, he could. I mean, he's super versatile.
You could put
I'm a
Zeke
big
Berry
Smith
at safety. That's where he started.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably what I do is great as Zeke Berry is at corner. And as much as you'd love to keep him at corner, for the sake of the rest of the roster, I think Snowden to corner makes more sense.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So yeah, I'm excited about Jamarian Vincent, man. I'm excited. I don't know if this is one that you had on your board or were hearing about, but this is a pick that I was eager to make if it came this way.
He's one of the standout freshmen for sure. Like what he's doing early on, just kind of he could have jumped Shamari Earls. I mean, but different positions. They can do different things, but no, I think that's a good one. I'm going to take Chase Taylor here at linebacker.
Almost did it to you, but like, then where do I play? Where do I play these guys?
I'm going to take Chase Taylor's my number one linebacker on my board.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You got your number one this late?
I did. He suffers from bad name theory, but he quietly played in 10 games last year as a true freshman, really flashed against the run. He's reportedly garnered the bulk of the attention from the staff after a big winter in the weight room, and standing at 6'2", 237, I like his chances of playing either Mike, Sam, or Will linebacker in this scheme.
I almost took him over Mason Curtis. I had him up there that high as well. But then I had to take NOB because he's my guy. So I went my guy theory. I did have him high, but I did not have him as high as you. I have him. This is the guy that I kind of let drop because of the way the board fell. I have him at 22. So I have him high too.
It's still pretty high. It's like he outproduced Owusu Boateng last year.
Of course he did. I'm betting on ceiling.
Very quietly, both freshmen, same age.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So right on the same playing field. Again, it's your flavor. You're planting your flag on your guy here, and it's like, okay, take it. I'm going to roll with Taylor here. I'm glad I got him late too.
No, that's a really good one there. I wasn't going to back down from NOB. I don't regret.
Your boy.
I don't regret it. I regret nothing. But yeah, I had him high. I only have him. Where do I have NOB here? So I have NOB. They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
I've got them right next to each other. Where'd you have Staling?
I had him I think he was 4. I had him 4.
Okay. Tough to rank.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of unknown. Like I feel good with what it could be with the potential in the room, but it's still unknown.
With you there. All right. Planting my flag again. I'd rather have, oh my God. No. I've done enough flag planting. Houston Caniana Torres.
Houston from Nebraska.
Houston from Nebraska. I will play him at center if need be. I have nothing to add. I have no
Honestly,
quip.
No, listen to how you backed into this. I had this note. I knew you'd love this. He was brought in by this staff after losing out a year ago when they recruited him at Utah. And in Greg Biggins' evaluation from 247, he wrote, love the positional versatility, but center could be his meal ticket long term. And he has all the tools to be an early impact player at the next level. You're welcome.
Okay. Well, there we go. Look, this is going to sound racist, but you can't be racist in a good way. I like Polynesian linemen. I like them.
No, that's a tremendous pick.
I'm a Panay Sewell guy.
You get him right there at center. That's good. I'm coming back to me. I'm going to take Deacon Tonielli as my second tight end.
Love it. Love it, man. This tight end conversation, we'll save it for the end, but
I think there's a reason they didn't address this in the portal. Deacon Tonielli flashed last season. He's a fascinating player. He could usurp Hogan Hansen if Hansen can't stay healthy. They're kind of played the same stretch out tight end position, and he's drawn a lot of praise during camp. So I'm kind of betting on that a little bit. And also what we saw a little bit last season when he just kind of jumped people and it was like, is he playing better than Marlon Klein right now? Is he doing some things? So I really like what he brings to this. And I like the balance of having Zach Marshall who can play in line and I can space Tonielli out.
Really like it. Zach Marshall, Tonielli, if you told me that was better than Hansen, and who's the freshman we have in this class at the tight end position? We did take one in this recruiting class. Apologies, I don't have them on my top 60. So whoever.
Yeah, I had the next tight ends I had either Jalen Hoffman or Eli.
Jalen Hoffman, yeah, those are the next two I have as well. So, yeah. Regardless, I think Deacon Tonielli
Mason Bonner, I think is the freshman's name.
There it is. Thank you. Yep, that was the one I was looking for. All right, coming back to me, I can't go on the offensive line. You just went with tight end. Looking at my depth chart here, pretty much everything's filled out. We're kind of just looking for depth here. So I will go ahead and take, you can't take him, but you could do some gamesmanship and put him at fullback. So I
can't anymore.
You couldn't game it and draft him and put him at, no, because you already have two running backs. Yeah, you have two running backs. So I'll take Hoffman. I'll put him at like kind of a pseudo running back tight end position. He'll be my second running back, fullback. Just we'll look back on this in 2 years and see what kind of contributions he had. Won't really matter the position. He's going to have contributions.
He's playing your flex position, your tight end, full running back, offensive line position.
He's my second running back /
second running end. Back.
Yeah, he's potentially a fullback.
Okay, we have a fullback position underneath Hogan Hansen.
Okay.
I mean, put him draft how you want. I mean, just saying Jalen Hoffman at running back really caught me off guard.
Doesn't catch me that far off guard because there's really no one else that I think's going to put up numbers down the line. So I don't think I can see why you could say that now, but down the line when we look back on it, be like, oh, you got Jalen Hoffman, you got him in there, and he's going to have some weird numbers like 2 rushes for 19 yards and 16 receptions for and it's not going to look that crazy down the road. Is what I'm saying. But yeah, Tony, please throw him in the flex for now. Gives me a little bit more positional versatility.
Okay, I'm going to take Troy Bowles at linebacker. He was my second linebacker on my board. He has the most returning production coming back. And an underrated pass rusher. Jay Hill's top 2 players in sacks last year were linebackers, and you can see Bowles deployed in that manner, especially if they're struggling to get a pass rush with players like Cam Brand on the perimeter.
Yeah, 27 tackles, 2 for loss, a sack, block kick, and a forced fumble. This is an older player. You kind of look at him and you think this is a younger guy. This is the version you're seeing is what you're getting with Troy Bowles. But that version is a starter. I think that version, I went more for upside with my picks.
He starts at Mike.
I think he does, but I think there's a chance guys could surpass him.
Really? Wow, you've really cooled down on him. You picked him last year.
I loved him. I really loved him last year, but last year was like finished product. Troy Bowles. Is there another level?
Oh wow, I love.
You think there's another? You think there's another level?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, 100%. I love it. That's good for the team. I'm not mad.
No, 100%. I think there's another level. Oh yeah, I mean that was only his first season playing a full season. Like, oh yeah, I think there's a lot more to tap into.
In the Big Ten, coming in undersized with other guys pushing you from behind that are a little bit more physically gifted.
Physically gifted. You talk about undersized. I mean, he's 6 foot 230.
Yeah. He's
I
6
mean,
foot 230, and you were giving shit
who's
to
6 foot
Obus Buckle,
217.
who's 217, but we don't have the updated spring numbers.
Yeah, we
Can
do.
he get to
We have the
2?
spring roster.
Okay, but give me the fall numbers on Owusu Bolting.
Okay.
That frame with his brother's frame coming in at a similar size, like
Okay.
I think he'll get there.
Okay.
He'll get there. I think coming in. I like Troy Bowles. This is sounding derogatory. This
I
is
know.
not
It sounds
Troy
like you're
Bowles
hating on Bowles
derogatory.
here.
I'm not, and I like Trace Taylor too. The linebacker conversation, man, this is fascinating. I love it. For Pond, we agree way too much.
Sure.
So this is the one podcast of the year where we finally get to disagree on some things, and I'm fascinated because it felt like a black hole going into the linebackers where I was like, how big of a gap did you have between Staling and Taylor? Like, I was like, I don't know, man. Staling could come in and that could translate, and he could have Ben, what's his name that went to the Minnesota Vikings? I'm
Gideon.
blanking right now. Gideon, thank you. He could have like a Gideon type of season that wouldn't surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So, like, I really struggled with the linebackers.
Yeah, I rank them as Taylor, Bowles, Boateng, and then Stalling. Just because
Okay.
of the size of Boateng, and then with the unknown coming up from FCS with Stalling. Like, again,
Well, I have.
because, like, again, like, if we were to say, like, Bowles is a finished product, what does that make Stalling as an older player changing levels?
I have, and this is because I'm a psychopath, Mason Curtis, number 1.
I love
Move
that.
him to linebacker. Do it. He's 6'5".
I know. Honestly,
What are we doing?
if you switch he and Boateng, does that make more sense?
Mason Curtis and Boateng moves me, and that's why I drafted that way.
Yeah.
Now, the way it worked out, I have to play Curtis at safety, but like in my head, that's what made sense on this defense.
Yeah.
I was like, Boateng is a see ball, get ball guy, and then you've got the size you can make up for it with Curtis there, so you still have a physically imposing tackler there. Chase Taylor is the one that I kind of regret slipping away. But at the same time, like, am I going to take Chase Taylor over the guy that I've been 10 toes down on? We'll see, man. But it's been the most that was the one, that and defensive tackle. I don't know where you stand, but I waffled.
I feel better about the 2 deep at linebacker than I do at defensive tackle, having gone through this exercise.
Okay. No, agreed.
Yeah, the 2 deep.
There.
Yeah,
agreed there. I yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know if Staling ends up beating out Taylor or any of these other guys, but like, that guy can play. That guy's not going to be a liability.
no, he's not a true freshman either.
Yeah, exactly. All right, where are we at? Sorry, Tony, we got off pace there, but
you're
who's up? Okay, I'm up, and your last pick was
Troy Bowles.
Troy Bowles. Yeah, that's what, of course. Yeah, led into that. Travis Johnson, wide receiver. Fill it out there. I don't know what else there is to be said. I heard some rumblings coming out of camp. Probably not this year, but eventually keep an eye out.
I like that he can play inside and outside. That can get him on the field. That type of versatility, especially even in a rotational capacity, if a player goes down, it makes his line shorter to get onto the field. So I like that. You see the talent. You see why he was such a high pick. Defensive end, I'm going to take Carter Meadows to fill out
Had him early. Almost took him early.
I know, defensive line here. He's just an athletic freak. He could really upset the established order behind everybody not named John Henry Daly with what he can do.
Yeah, man. It was him and Marshall. Where was the gap between the two for you?
So on my board, let me pull up my notes. So I went JHD, I went Dom Nichols, and then it was Gap, Cam Brandt, Nate Marshall tied, then Carter Meadows. Just because it's the unknown. Like with Nate Marshall, I know he can rush the passer in the Big Ten.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, Nate Marshall can do something for you. I had him on my board. I have him on my long list here. I have Carter Meadows one spot ahead of him, but it's exactly what you're describing there. It's just like Nate Marshall. Okay. Like, yeah, he belongs on a college football field. Does he belong on a Big Ten competing team? Can he play down in and down out? Can he stop the run? I don't know. Can Carter Meadows do that? I don't know, but I guarantee you Carter Meadows can probably also come in and do what Nate Marshall did last year. Guaranteed.
Does it feel like Nate Marshall's on transfer portal watch potentially next season?
Huge swing check mark next to Nate Marshall in my list. The biggest of check marks of swing player. Either he hits or I would see him probably move on to Virginia Tech. Yep. All right, where I'm at. So I guess I need a second running back, but I've got Jalen Hoffman in there. Micah Capana is out. I need another safety. So I think that's where we're going to go here. On my list, a question of preference. This is like making me choose.
For the third straight year, do it.
This is like making me choose between Tremors and The Mummy. Just things that I love.
Take him.
Give me no. Kano Winston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know it's Kainoa, but on this podcast, it's Kano Winston.
I'm shocked you didn't go Jacob Oden.
Of course, I've done it too many times.
He has an interception.
He got passed up by Jordan Young pretty easily. Didn't take much for Jordan Young to come in there and absolutely wrestle that spot away from him. Kano Winston's younger, more chance that this plays out longer down the road. Long game on this one. Long game pick.
I say
Long
Odin
game.
quietly
I'm
played
hoping-
in 10 games last year.
I like Odin's been my guy, man. Odin has been my guy, but go back and look at our spring game drafts of me picking my guys. It has absolutely torpedoed me. I'm choosing a new guy.
All right,
Kano
all right.
Winston.
Winston was a stud. And everyone breaking down his high school tape coming out of Gonzaga. He just has the speed. He has everything you want in a safety. It's just, can he put it together? And there's added competition now in the room with Taylor Tatum also transferring over from Oklahoma, moving to that room. So if Winston hits, it'd be big. And he's going to earn this one because the room is really loaded.
Ooh, no, never mind. I had Taylor Tatum on my list to grab literally in case I needed a running back and a safety. And the fact that those are the last two positions I had open, and the fact that I didn't take Tatum right there is upsetting.
You could still take him with your last pick in a second. But yeah, no, that's good. I like you branching out a little bit, trying a new strategy. For my last guard here, there's a few players to choose from on this roster. I could go Marky Wallbridge. That's who I'm probably going to end up taking. He's taken a lot of reps as the sixth offensive lineman at the Rhino position during camp, and he could have a foothold on that one before the rest of the recruits come in and we get into the fall. Another player I'm really considering, though, is recently switched positions, Manuel Beagle, who switched positions this spring after playing in 4 games on the defensive line last year before getting injured. The position change tells me that Jim Harding sees something, especially considering how thin the defensive tackle room is. To move him over, there must be something there. But I'm going to go with Marky Wallbridge because I think he's going to get on the field.
I love this. Did not have Marky Wallbridge on my long list because he plays tackle, and what a deep position that is. But like, if you're saying he gets on the field, only so many of these 6'7" guys can kick inside.
Yeah. So it's like if I draft him, then theoretically on my team, I could kick Evan Link inside.
Okay. Will you allow me one rebuttal to take Taylor Tatum with that last pick? I don't need it. I'll take Drake Johnson then, running back.
Drake Johnson.
What's his name? Who's the guy that's injured all the time? I don't even have him on my top. There he is. I don't even have him in my top 60. He's too injured.
A fun stat I would have given you for a player here, you're going to hate the name, but Tommaso Mira has more rushing yards in 2 games than Capana has in 6.
Actually, F it. Sorry for the F-bomb there. I'll take Taylor Tatum. I'll take Taylor Tatum at my backup running back position, and I can put him at safety if I want. I don't care that I just took Kano Winston there. No, I've got options. Yeah. I'll run the ball with Kano Winston if I have to. We're going to dig deep to get a win.
I can't believe you just no-sold my great stat about Tomas.
Nobody cares.
It's a tremendous stat. We're so high on Capana, about O'Meara plays. But no, that's a good way to do it. I mean, Taylor Tatum was the number 1 running back in the class just a few years
literally
ago.
have here written next to Taylor Tatum, this is so upsetting. If it comes down to safety or running back, grab this guy. It was safety and running back that I had left, and I missed on that. Drafts are hard, man. This is why if we ever take control of a team, I'm bringing you on board. I'm too emotional. I can't keep it together. I like beer way too much. I'm going to be drinking. That's how it's going to go.
But you do get first pick of coaches now to finish this thing up.
Jay Hill at defensive coordinator, I think, is the best coach. Non-Kyle Whittingham on this team, but I don't think it's a big drop-off.
Again, I've been well on board. I think he's our next head coach when it comes down the pike. You look, he's already been a head coach. He completely turned around Weber State before coming back to be a defensive coordinator, a program that was in dire straits, and he turned him into a champion. So I think he has that pedigree, and I think Whittingham's going to make the transition as seamless as possible. I'm going to go Jason Beck then. So the offensive mind, this team is going to be driven by its offense. If that's going to be the bread and butter, it's because of Jason Beck's scheme and what he does.
I love it. Makes it easy for me. Chalk here. We'll go Jim Harding, offensive line coach.
Could not be more chalk on this one. Coming back to me for my defensive coach, I'm going to go with Tyler Stockton, safeties coach. He's been a DC. He's a 3-time Broyles Award nominee with 8 years of coordinating experience.
Look at you, man, doing the work there.
Come on, man.
Thought about Larry Black, thought about Tony Alford, but the fact that you went on the
Exactly.
first pick there. Makes total sense there that you would switch to the defense. So there are our teams, man. Well done. Applause to everyone involved. Thank you, Tony, here. But Andy, run us through it, brother. Your team here, top to bottom.
All right. So my team, top to bottom, is Bryce Underwood, as we both have, Savion Hyder, Bryson Cusdahl, Celeste Moa, Jamie French, Kendrick Bell, Zach Marshall, Deacon Tonielli, Andrew Babalola, Marky Walbridge, Jake Guarnera, Ace Hamilton, Evan Link, Eno Etta, Trey Pierce, John Henry Daly, Carter Meadows, Chase Taylor, Troy Bowles, Jordan Young, Jair Hill, Shamari Earls, Chris Bracey, Rod Moore, and from the two coaches took Jason Beck and Tyler Stockton.
Right. My team, top to bottom, Bryce Underwood is going to be starting quarterback. Jordan Marshall, Taylor Tatum running the rock for me. Andrew Marsh and JJ Buchanan as my top wide receivers, with freshman Travis Johnson bringing up the rear. Hogan Hansen at tight end, as well as Jalen Hoffman. Then on the offensive line, it's going to be Blake Frazier, Nathan Afobe, Houston Cayena Torres, Brady Norton, Andrew Sprague, and all right, moving to the defense, it's going to be Jonah Leia at defensive tackle, along with freshman Titan Davis. That's a very interesting pairing. Cam Branton, Dom Nichols as my edge rushers, Nathaniel Owusu Boateng and Nathaniel Staling, the pair of Nathaniels at the linebacker position. In my secondary, Zeke Berry, Smith Snowden, Jamarian Vincent, Mason Kernis, Kano Winston. My coaches will be Jay Hill and Jim Harding. All right, my friend, where do you want to start with this? Early takeaways. What did you learn from this spring game draft?
I really like the offensive line.
Okay.
I think it was early on, you and I each had three, and we were both like, okay, I feel really strong that of my three pieces on the offensive line, there's still some places to go after this. Maybe it's a Jim Harding co-product, but I love the offensive line.
There was a lot of pieces there. And
Yeah.
it was different in certain years where, like, look, I mean, the fact that we had three each and still felt pretty good about some of the depth pieces, that indicates strong offensive line play. Like, we get three guys and we're like, yeah, not that big of a drop off there. The depth, that's going to happen when you're drafting in a 2-team draft with an offensive line. We can only field 5 to 6 at a time. But I'm totally with you there. That stood out. The thing that stood out to me, I'll go negative. Someone has to do it. Defensive tackle is a bit of a black hole. And it really showed in this one. John Henry Daly went first overall in this draft, and a reasonable pick, even if there wasn't that big of a drop off. You know, a really, really talented player. If you can get double digit sacks on your team, you take that every time. But the drop off from him to the next best offensive lineman could be massive.
There's just a lot of pieces there that, I came away feeling stronger about linebacker than did defensive tackle.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I also think that linebacker maybe rose up, but only in comparison with defensive tackle. Wide receiver stood out to me. Depth.
Much
There's
better.
depth here.
This is the
So
best
much better.
wide receiver room I can remember in a while.
Yeah, man. Like, I grabbed Travis Johnson with like the last pick of this. I'm like, I'm excited about Travis Johnson. You kind of got lapped by me early on. I got Martian Buchanan. You still got Moa and French, you know?
It's
Like,
it's
that's
like,
so much better than last year.
oh yeah, we had the one draft, I think it was 2024 at wide receiver. Here are the receivers from 2024: Maj Morgan, Frederick Moore, Tyler Morris, Peyton O'Leary, Christian Dixon, and Kendrick Bell.
Electrocute myself. Don't tell me that. I don't like
There's just
that.
so much more talent. There's so much more versatility. We didn't even draft a player like Jamar Browder, who's 6'5" and has a unique skill set on this team.
No, yeah. I mean, there's Channing Goodwin did not get drafted in this. There's guys that I think could still contribute, if not on this team, on another team at the wide receiver position. Yeah, defensive line, defensive tackle, linebacker, fascinating discussion. I was
Yeah.
so fascinated to see how we went. We had it similar, but here's where I think it's interesting is I had them all bunched up.
Yeah.
I had them all bunched up. I had the offensive line and secondary. When I look at my top 20 players, there's a lot of names. There's two running backs. There's two wide receivers. There's several offensive linemen. There's a lot of secondary players. It takes a while before you get to the linebackers. And then I had them all kind of bunched together.
Yeah. I didn't have my big board laid out that way, but I did have positionally had them ranked. I had Chase Taylor and then a decent gap. Like, I'm very high on his potential,
I
again, with
love
the
it.
size, and I like the compliment next to Bowles. With Boateng, you like him getting on the field in that hybrid 4-3 or that 4-2-5 where it's that big linebacker that can also run. Like if his I don't think he can play the Mike at that size, but if you put him at will, I think that could be a very sneaky chess piece, similar to like Michael Barrett in 2021.
I have it. Boateng 29, Staling 31, Chase Taylor 33, with Zach Marshall splitting it up in there.
Okay.
But I have no idea how this is
Yeah.
going to play out at linebacker. It's a really interesting discussion. Now, you heard in some of the rumblings from spring camp that, like, yeah, linebackers coming along. If they're not being effusive in their praise and they're saying it's coming along, that doesn't really bode well. Like, might not be great out of the gate for linebacker.
It's this watching this team defend the run is going to be fascinating. Like that's going to be the early test with the schedule, especially Oklahoma week 2. Can this team stop the run? It might be a few games where the offense just has to outscore the opponent, which they are more than capable of doing this season.
All right, my friend, where do you think you won at on this draft? In the margins, any particular area where you think you ran away or took it from me?
There's no runaways here. You and I have been doing this too long and know each other too well for there to be any type of runaways. I just look for places that like where there were bigger drop offs. Like I feel really good about my. I mean, we're just crapping all over it. I feel better about my defensive line. Just having starters out there.
100%.
Like if there's
That's
going
the
to be a
starting
spot
point.
that I'm going to go to, it would be that.
Yeah, you have the top 2 on my board. I think you're absolutely right to point there. For me, I would say the wide receiver group. I have the
Yep.
top 2 wide receivers in my opinion, and I also think having Zeke Berry, Smith Snowden, and Mason Curtis is pretty nice there in the secondary for my team.
Yeah, that's like it's. I mean, it's funny though because those three kind of cancel out to me with Jair Hill, Bracy, and Rod Moore. Like very balanced. They're similar to our offensive lines where each of us have 3 guys we feel really strongly about, and then 2 just fill in role players.
That makes for a good draft, man. We
Yes, it
can't
does.
call this one now. We're going to put this one out there for the fans to vote on. I would imagine it's going to be like most of them. These have been generally like 48-52
Very
kind of
close.
votes. And we'll look at that, but this one will be decided next year. This will be decided next year at the spring game draft when we look back on it, or maybe 2 years from
Yep.
now. If Brady Norton hits and Ace Hamilton transfers, then there you go.
Yeah, it swings things. It's always fascinating to watch some of the players' development, who becomes who, and we're going to get our first glimpse this Saturday in the spring game of a lot of the depth pieces.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's going to be mostly depth pieces, so for the sickos only on the
Yes, I
spring
mean,
game draft.
and that's us. If you just listen to 2 hours or however long this podcast is about the entire roster as we draft them up and talk nonsense and argue over Troy Bowles, then the spring game is for you.
This is what we do, brother. Like, we get deep. We get to pick 32, and we're like, finally, I get to fight with you. I love it.
It's like,
I live for this
how
stuff.
can you demean his value here? It's like, Andy, you picked him 30 seconds. Like, I need him.
He has 3 starts.
I need him now.
It's like, he's so much better. Are you out of your mind?
Do you have eyes? I do.
I have eyes. I can tell you. Yeah. Your biggest swing in this draft?
Not going with Buchanan right away and settling on 2 unproven wide receivers.
Okay.
Celesi, Moa, and French. Like, because like I knew Buchanan was there. I knew you were going to take him again if I didn't circle back and get him. And I just took the risk to go back to the trenches and let it become down to 2 guys I've never seen play college football.
I like it. For me, it was Blake Frazier over Andy Babs, but either one's a swing. No matter how you pick it, Frazier's a swing, Babs is a swing. So I took the swing of the more sure thing. So I don't know if that fits in the spirit of a true swing. If we're going with a true swing, it's Owusu Boateng for me. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the one that I've
you're
got.
banking on the
Over-leveraged.
potential. You're banking on the talent a little bit, but
Over-leveraged.
it's also your guy. And again, like if you're not going to take Jacob Oden, you got to get one of your guys.
I had to get one of my guys, and I'm going to be so mad if Odin's like, oh, it's Odin over Rod Moore, and Owusu Boateng
If
is
those
transferred
words are
to Notre
muttered
Dame.
this season, then we might have to stop drafting. It's
Oh,
Oden
my
over
gosh.
Rod Moore.
My God, help us all. This was great, man. I enjoy this so much. We're going to put this up for a vote. Y'all decide the initial vote, but we'll decide it for real next year. Looking at last year's results, I think you get it because I didn't take a running back.
You try to look for big.
But you have Mikey Keene as your quarterback, who accounted for 0 passing yards.
Exactly. That's why it was so tough. Yeah, and then I mean, you look at some of the names picked, and it's like, all right, there's Samaj Morgan. Oh, that's fun. Fred Moore doesn't play for this team. Andrew Babalola blew out his knee. Miss Houseman, we all know what happened there. Odd
Yeah.
Moore also
Do we?
re-injured. Yeah, so it's a lot of question marks on last year. I don't think there is a winner. Like, there's not a winner from
Exactly.
last year.
Just losers. Yeah.
Just
Well,
losers.
this year we will hope to have a winner. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much, producer Tony. Anything to add to this? They don't call you the best color man in sports for nothing.
Enjoy the spring games for sickos only like us.
Yeah, this year especially is going to be for the sickos. All right, let us know what you think. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, interact with us, reach out to us. We're a bunch of prickly bastards, but we'll get back to you. I am Jared. That is Andy. He's off for a while. You'll just be dealing with myself and Tony for a while. Send him well wishes as he is anticipating the birth of a son that will very likely play guard for, I don't know, God and the angels eventually.
He's going to come out and I'm going to send you a video and be like, look, Jared, he likes Troy Bowles.
I'm going to fight that kid. This is a Boateng house. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. This is Out of the Blue. Thank you for 10 years of podcast. We will talk to you next week. Remember, wherever you go Blue.
I'll ask the guy behind the register a question.